Dan qualifying over and done with P4. Well done. You pleased with that?
I feel a little bit funny about it. I was a little bit apprehensive before quali because I feel like we've got a very quick car at the moment, and the weather and it consistently seems to be testing us. And I came here hoping for just a really normal kind of weekend where we can show his performance, hopefully pick up a load of points and move on. But straight away you're thrown into one of the most difficult qualifying sessions you'll ever have. From wets to slicks, crossover points, trying to work out. You only got one lap on the tyre on a wet because it destroys itself. Then you've got to put slicks on, and we've got to cross, and the whole thing's like pressure like you won't believe. So I'm happy to come through it in fourth, but ultimately I think on a normal day I came here hoping that I'd be closer to pole. But there's no beating a BMW today. It's not that. If you could write a script for how a BMW gets the best out of itself, that'd be it. Obviously they've got a full 10 minutes where we have to pit and go back out and try again. So, and they just keep going around and get more and more temperature, more and more knowledge while we're in the pit lane. So that's their ace in the hole, but it doesn't happen every week. It might be the only time it happens this year. We know that on a normal qualifying, when it's when it all's equal, that I don't think there is much between the strategies of them staying out and us pitting to front to rear. So it's just the circumstance of the day, and it came to them at the end. I think there's 4 of them in the top 7, or certainly 3 in the top 7 there. So I'm reasonably happy. My lap was all over the show. I would say that. I mean, you're kind of thrown in at the deep end, and everyone's the same, and you just have to get on with it. I'm a little bit down in sector 1, probably a little bit apprehensive into 1 because it was damp on the braking point, and then it dried up as you got into the corner. So it was having the confidence just to drive past the wet bit and then get in. Costed myself a bit of time there, and then had a big moment at last corner, two laps in a row. But the last lap, I knew that track limits would kill me, so I held my foot on the brake and almost brought it to a stop actually to avoid going over, and then carried on. Ridiculously slow over the start-finish line, but I didn't get track limits, and it was enough for fourth. I think I'll find there was a chunk of time in that one corner alone, but in those conditions everyone's going to have adventures and have loads of time to find, so I'm happy to be fourth. We can race from there tomorrow.
With the new format and the discrepancy across the board with the hybrid, you're looking at the timing screens before, and you look at that difference of, I think it's 1.2 seconds or something like that. How much does that sort of make up the conversation?
So what's 1.2?
There 1.2 seconds between you and pole, I think, isn't there?
I've got loads of hybrid. It's got nothing to do with hybrid. It's all to do with, I'd say in those conditions hybrid's almost negligible. Okay. What you gain down the back straight, a couple of temps, you might get a 10th here, is completely negated by what your setup is, who's in the seat at the end of the day. So we ultimately, the BMW does, I'd say, at least 1 if not 2 more laps than we do in those conditions. And it's not that not only are they generating temperature over those laps, they're also learning about bits of track you can and can't drive on. Bearing in mind we've not done a single dry lap here, so you get to a corner and you go, well, I was driving the wet line earlier, but can I get to the dry line now? Oh yes, I can. I'm glad I found that out on the last lap, that actually I could have been driving on the dry bit, not the wet bit. But you don't, these are the things that you kick yourself afterwards and go, oh, if only. But under the heat of the moment, when you've only got 2 chances, and it was 2, you've got 2 laps, and you can't have track limits around a circuit that's notoriously bad for them. It's like you might as well roll a dice and say how lucky do you feel. So I say in some respects I'm glad to come through it. And if you'd said at the start, look, it's going to be absolute chaos, but do you want fourth? I'd have gone, go on then, I'll take it. So it is what it is.
Do you feel lucky?
I feel good. I think we've got a strong package. I'm feeling good for this weekend. It's not easy starting around so many BMWs. They're going to come off the line incredibly well. And I'm going to have to get brave. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 4. I'm going to have to really anchor it, put it on its nose, and try and force them into a mistake, and hopefully recoup my position and go from there. And then we can start talking about how much hybrid I've got compared to some of those. You look at the like of Ash with 1. I think Jake's maybe got 4 or 5 to my 8. So I should be, if I can neutralise it off the start, I should be in a sensible position to move forward a little bit.
Fantastic. Cheers, Dan.
And then it'll probably rain, so who knows what's going to happen.
Thanks, Dan.